Respectable wrestling analyst Brandon Thurston says he's confident that All Elite Wrestling is not profitable right now. Details as to why that is amid discussion, rumours and debate surrounding All Elite Wrestling media rights increase over their television deal with Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, speaking of television deals, of course, it was announced this week that NXT will be headed to the CW network in October of 2024. However, a new report suggests that Tony Khan actually turned down the opportunity to talk to the CW network about a television deal for Ring of Honor. Details as to why that was. CM Punk, he was formerly in AEW. There's rumors he could be going back to WWE. But what about New Japan Pro Wrestling? Well, reportedly, the company would be open to seeing the former AEW World Champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Could Raw be leaving USA Network? And could they be headed to FX? We've got details on that. Plus, John Cena has posted to Instagram a cryptic update as to his pro wrestling and WWE future. And Ric Flair's AEW Collision debut is announced. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about AEW, possibly, according to one wrestling analyst, not being currently profitable. Now, wrestling analyst Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics.com discussed AEW's relationship with Warner Bros. Discovery in an interview with SEScoops.com. Regarding the future of AEW programming on TBS/TNT, Thurston stated the following, quote, "I think Tony is incredibly committed to WBD. He's insanely loyal. I asked him recently if Fox was now a possibility for AEW with SmackDown leaving. He would only talk about Warner Discovery and how he loves being partners there," end quote. But he continued on by saying, quote, "I'm confident they aren't profitable now. They need to make $200 million a year in media rights to get to profitability. They'll get some increase. They could get triple what they're getting now. It's not unreasonable. But he's going to continue to run the company and do what he's doing, whether it's profitable or not. If I'm Warner Discovery, I'm waiting to see where the NBA rights are going to land. Maybe that influences how I schedule AEW. As for why they aren't streaming already, it doesn't make sense to me. At least have next day rights on Max. Maybe they're waiting until Collision can deliver ratings. Maybe it will turn into Rampage where it falls off in interest after a while. They go against a lot of sports competition the rest of the year. What can they deliver when they aren't up against college football or the NFL or the NBA? And there's the NBA deal, which is a hang-up as well. NBA exclusive negotiating doesn't start until the season over. With that, it could be June or July, so they have to wait until those deals expire. So what are your thoughts about the reports, or at least a suggestion, the assumption there that AEW at the moment isn't profitable right now, and reportedly they'll need to make $200 million per year in their media rights to get to that profitability, i.e., a $1 billion deal, which was rumoured obviously earlier this year in the summer. Do you think that AEW will get to that point and become profitable? Do you think it's a concern when you hear this news that AEW might not be profitable? Does that make you worried about the long-term future of AEW, or the fact that the Khan's family wealth is absolutely astronomical? Does it not make you worry at all? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's a big story? Do you think it's a small story? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comments section below. Now, I do want to talk about Ring of Honor because this is an absolutely fascinating story. Reportedly, the CW networks had a lot of conversations with a lot of pro wrestling companies recently. If it's not the NWA, now, of course, we know that it's WWE NXT. That's moving to the CW network in October of 2024. But reportedly, one company they might have been interested in having talks about was Ring of Honor, which is absolutely fascinating. Now, the pro wrestling world got thrown a curveball this week when it was announced that WWE NXT had signed a 5-year television deal with the CW. The news surprised many due to Nick Hausman's recent report that Billy Corgan and the NWA had signed a pair of TV deals with the Top 20 network. It appears Corgan still has those deals in place, but due to bad publicity stemming from a segment involving a Class A substance at a recent NWA pay-per-view, that content will likely be moved to the CW app and not run on its actual television airwaves. As House of Wrestling say they continue to look into the CW's interest in bringing pro wrestling back to the platform, an interesting name came up: Tony Khan. Now, House of Wrestling say they have learned that a high-level CW executive approached Khan at the LA Forum in June 2022 about bringing Ring of Honor to the network. Now, Nick Houseman says he's unsure if this was before talks between the CW and the NWA or WWE NXT were underway. From what Nick Houseman says he understands, Khan did not pursue talks with the CW as he refuses to seriously entertain new deals for Ring of Honor until AEW TV rights are in play, which will be in 2024. Khan feels that by waiting, he will have more options and leverage in the marketplace. Now, it was noted to Nick Houseman of House of Wrestling that Khan found the CW executive to be very pleasant and someone he enjoyed visiting with, but it was just not the right time to make a deal. Now, Nick Houseman says that he has learned of at least 2 other notable pro wrestling promotions that are not the NWA or WWE NXT that the CW was in talks with recently. Now, they're currently working out to find out more information on those talks. They've also been told that the CW is hoping to open to hosting multiple pro wrestling products on their platform, and WOW, that being Women of Wrestling, is likely to continue to air on the CW during the same time frame that WWE NXT does. So certainly it looks like the CW were very interested and have been very interested and getting in much more deeper when it comes to the pro wrestling world over the last 12 months. But what are your thoughts on Tony Khan passing on the opportunity to enter talks with the CW about a Ring of Honor television deal? Is this once again due to his hope that possibly he can include ROH in the latest rounds of media rights negotiations with Warner Brothers Discovery? Do you think it's a case of him hoping to do multiple TV deals at the same time? Is it quite strange to you, considering that at the moment Ring of Honor only airs on Honor Club, and frankly their television presence is really minimal, and it's actually started to see Ring of Honor titles and talents start to appear once again on AEW programming after some initial separation? What are your thoughts on all of it? Let me know your thoughts and reaction to that in the comments section below. Now, CM Punk. We know he's not going to be in AEW. We don't know if he's going to be going back to WWE. Some say not at Survivor Series, even though some think he will be there. But what about New Japan Pro Wrestling? Well, earlier this year, CM Punk and his time with All Elite Wrestling ended following a backstage altercation with Jack Perry at AEW All In. It was the conclusion to months of backstage tension between Punk, Perry, the Elite, and many others in the locker room. Following his exit, speculation immediately began to swirl regarding his future in professional wrestling, with many hoping for a WWE return. Unfortunately, a WWE return does not appear to be on the cards right now, but that does not mean there are not any other opportunities elsewhere for the multi-time world champion. In an interview with Fightful, Rocky Romero, who of course is incredibly influential backstage and in the office of New Japan Pro Wrestling, as well as having influence in AEW, bridging the relationship between the two companies, was asked what big names fans can expect possibly to appear soon in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He said, quote, "You never know. I think that obviously we didn't really get to do many crossovers when Punk was with AEW. There was supposed to be the Tanahashi Punk match that never happened. So I think Punk coming and doing a Wrestle Kingdom or a big show like that could be great for our product. Obviously, getting fresh eyes and everything that he brings to it, merchandise and everything else. So I wouldn't be opposed to it at all." As noted by Romero, New Japan and AEW have an ongoing relationship that sees them co-producing and promoting shows like Forbidden Door that feature dream matches like Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson. Okada returned to AEW a few weeks ago to participate in a Dynamite tag team match against Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli. Danielson will head to Japan in January to continue feuding with Okada at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 18 event inside the Tokyo Dome. Considering Punk's unceremonious and contentious exit from AEW, Romero was pressed about how Tony Khan would feel about New Japan working with the former AEW World Champion. Quote, "I know Tony pretty well," he said. I feel like I would probably give him a heads up like, hey, this is what is going on, but I don't think he would have much to say about it. I mean, obviously, it's another company. He doesn't own New Japan. And obviously, even though we have a great partnership, I think it's fine. I think he'd be cool. I think he'd be cool with it. I think AEW would be cool with it, you know. I don't think so. I think he'd be cool. So certainly it appears that that Forbidden Door may be open for CM Punk to make some appearances in New Japan. Do you think this is now a possibility that Rocky Romero is certainly saying, no, we wouldn't have a problem, and we don't think AEW would have a problem either? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, Raw. The future of Monday Night Raw is the last television property that WWE has to lock down. WWE on broadcast television will look very different in 2024. It had long been documented that WWE's television right contracts with the USA Network for Raw and NXT and Fox for SmackDown are set to expire in the fall of 2024. WWE streaming deal with Peacock is due up in 2026. Now under the ownership of Endeavor, merged with UFC as part of TKO, WWE had been biding its time when it came to shopping its television products to suitors as the sports entertainment giant waited for the merger to finalize before making any permanent decisions regarding its broadcast future. The shifts began earlier this fall when the USA Network reacquired SmackDown. The blue brand had previously aired on that channel from 2016 to 2019. The high price that USA Network paid for SmackDown, valued at over $287 million per year, led industry experts to believe it would not be able to retain its current WWE products, Monday Night Raw and NXT. The first of those dominoes fell earlier this week. WWE announced that it would be moving NXT to the CW beginning in 2024. All eyes now turn to Monday Night Raw as WWE's flagship program awaits its next television deal. But it looks like the red brand could be calling FX its home in 2024. According to the Wrestling Observer, quote, most of the talk, end quote, right now is that FX will land Monday Night Raw next year. FX is under the Disney banner as the House of Mouse acquired that channel when it purchased 20th Century Fox in 2019. This would mark the first time that Monday Night Raw leaves the USA Network since 2005. The longest-running weekly episodic series spent its first 7 years of existence on USA Network, but pivoted to Spike TV from 2000 until 2005. It would return to USA Network in the fall of 2005 and has been a part of the start of the week primetime staple ever since. Monday Night Raw expanded to a 3-hour broadcast in the summer of 2012 while on the USA Network and has retained that runtime from there on. Beyond Monday Night Raw changing channels, there have also been whispers of WWE flirting with the idea of airing the show in a different day of the week. It remains to be seen, of course, if they move to FX, if indeed it would be 3 hours, considering that's a USA sort of mandate. So what are your thoughts on Raw possibly going to FX? And what are your thoughts on Raw not being on Monday as well? Could you see that as a possibility? And what do you think when it comes to moving to that network? Let me know your thoughts about that. John Cena has hinted at his pro wrestling future now that certainly the actor's strike is over. When someone is defeated as decisively as John Cena was by the Bloodline Solo Sikoa at Crown Jewel last weekend, it's understandable that it would have one thinking about the future, and it appears Cena, who has not won a televised singles match on WWE television since 2018, maybe thinking that his time to ride off into the sunset has finally arrived. Earlier today on Instagram, Cena posted a cartoonish photo stating the end. As expected, wrestling fans launched into a wealth of speculation as to what Cena meant with his cryptic share, including whether this meant Cena was alluding to an end of his time in the squared circle. But there is also a life outside of wrestling, and some have pointed out that this could simply be Cena referencing his other career in Hollywood. After all, last night the actor's strike reached an end after a deal between SAG-AFTRA and the AMPTP was agreed upon. Cena's recent run in WWE was prompted by the hole in Cena's schedule that the strikes opened up, and Cena had relayed that his time in WWE would run its course as soon as the strike had concluded. If this is the last wrestling fans see of Cena, though, it will have been his most active run in the WWE since 2021. In total, Cena wrestled 7 matches for WWE between August and September, during which he spent most of his time feuding with the Bloodline, including teaming with LA Knight to defeat Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso at October's Fastlane Premium Live event. So what do you think this means? Do you think Cena's referring to his pro wrestling career, or is this just a case of him saying that the strikes are now over? Finally, Ric Flair, his AEW Collision debut has been announced. WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair made his debut for AEW as Tony Khan's gift for Sting after the announcement of his retirement coming up at AEW Revolution next year. It was then announced last week that AEW had signed the Nature Boy to a multi-year contract with the company in collaboration with his Woo energy drink. Today, Ric Flair has been officially announced for an episode of AEW Collision for the first time. Flair is advertised for the January 6, 2024 episode of the show in Warehouse but Charlotte, North Carolina. Flair has spoken about his AEW return, noting that he has been cleared by doctors to take bumps in the company. Flair competed in his last match last year when he teamed with Andrade El Idolo to face off with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, with all 4 men now being signed to AEW. Sting, meanwhile, is set to team with Darby Allin and Adam Copeland at Full Gear to face the team of TNT champion Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. But the question is, do you think Flair will make more appearances prior to this Collision episode? Let me know your thoughts about that too in the comment section below. But there you go, guys. This is the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.